Cool. Hey, everybody. Caleb Kid Coy, your alchemized slayer of mediocrity and heroic family legacy builder. And I am super pumped up today to have my co-host, Aline Clark, with me today, partner in crime, sister from another mister. Aline, what is up? How are you?
I'm good, Caleb. I'm good. Thank you. This is an amazing thing that this morning is pretty amazing. And yes, I'm Aline Clark and I'm a founder of Tall Group. And here we are. We're about to do this podcast. Let's
Here
see.
we are. I love it. Well, you guys have probably seen Aline and I here and there doing some lives, doing some podcast interviews, and it's something we've been working on and building toward for months now. We met. How long has it been since we first met, Aline?
Oh, it feels like forever, Caleb.
It
Oh,
does.
honestly, it feels like I've always known you because of how much connection we have. And the more we work together, the more we realize that we kind of see things the same way. So, I don't know. Feels like forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe a year-ish somewhere in there, but, like, legit, when you find people that there is just, such kindred spirit with, like heart, like mind, I feel like I've known you for years. I feel like you've known me for years, right?
Mm,
And,
yes.
being able to see past, right? Not I don't wanna use the word superficial, but, the upfront appearances into a person's core, into a person's heart, for me personally, and I know you share this, Selena, is so critically important because there's an understanding, right, that we have about each other that you just don't find with every relationship, especially one that's a newer one. So for us to be able to not only have that camaraderie, if you will, but to essentially be able to build and create something where we're working together to empower other people is just like beyond exciting for me.
No, absolutely. And I feel the same because I come from a big family and I have a lot of sisters and we are very, very, very close. And when I'm with them, I can just be me. I don't have to try to be somebody else. I don't have to try to do something else. And I feel the same when it comes to the business side of it. Whenever you and me were trying to collaborate or trying to come up with something, I could just be honest with you and tell you exactly like, okay, let's not do this, let's do this. And then you'll take it right. And it's very rare because it's funny because you're a guy, I'm a girl. It's very rare to have that kind of connection with somebody who is in the opposite, like that in business. Usually it's kind of like, I'm the man, this is what's going to happen. But that's not what is happening with
Right.
us. And I really like that we can be doing this thing together and be able to share that information together. Yeah,
I love that,
absolutely.
Elaine. 100%. And it goes without saying, for those that don't know Elaine, she does have a strong personality and she's a strong woman. And as she knows, I'm married to a strong Brazilian woman. And so I'm not intimidated by that. And I love to see you step up, right? As you do so well and, take the lead at times. And that's great for me. You are a leader. You have extraordinary leadership capabilities, and it actually takes some of the pressure off me as a man, as a leader, if you will, right? Because leaders are used to leading, right? We're used to being able to take the lead, delegate, whatever else. But it's just such not only a pleasure but a relief at times, right, to have someone. Aline is a person that I know that I can trust and confide in because she's so intimately shares my values, right? There was that recognition that I could trust her with my people. I can trust her with my clients. I don't have to worry about her saying something to them or leading them in a direction that would, does not align with who I am or my values. And again, that's extraordinary. And I know that we share that. And so to have that, right, just allows us to be able to build, I think, in a way that's very unusual, as you kind of referenced earlier, don't you think?
It's very true. Honesty is very important in relationship, and I think that a lot of time with business partner or relationship don't work because it's not an honest communication between the two of them. Like somebody could be like struggling with something and not being able to be open about saying that to the partner, and next thing you know, we hit a milestone, or we're about to hit a milestone where we don't get to hit it because you were holding on a piece of information or maybe we weren't even ready for that. So honesty is very important, that when you're in a relationship with somebody, you tell them how it is. You tell them what you like, what you don't like, and you get to learn who they are and who they don't, and who their like and their dislike. And I think that's kind of like where we are after what, a year ish, you and I working together. I feel like we made it to where we're like honest with each other.
Yeah.
I can tell you, no, I don't want to do this. Oh, yes, I want to do this,
Mhm.
and you'll take it very well. And that alone is going to make it so that more adversity is going to come. I already know it between you and me. There's going to be more adversity that's going to come in the future. If we can build the foundation right now, and that's important for any relationship, you got to build the foundation so that it can withstand any kind of wind, any kind of adversity that's going to come their way. If that foundation is not built and it's kind of rocky, or it's built on sand, it's not going to make it. You got to build, you got to ground it. Make sure that
100%.
that's solid. We know, okay, Caleb knows Aline doesn't like that. Aline knows Caleb doesn't like that. And this is how we're going to function. Everything is defined clearly. I think we're going to make it no matter what. I think so.
100%. I
Hmm.
love that. And there's this mutual respect that's born out of that recognition of, this is who I am, this is who you are, this is who you are, this is who I am, which I think is huge. And so we're able to have those difficult conversations, right, without it feeling confrontational, if you will, right? And Aline knows, she shares this too. She's a big servant led, heart led empath, and I'm probably a bit extreme in that, right? In that, I just I lead with the heart. I love just a little bit, right? I love helping people, but she's straight enough with me to look at me and tell me at times, Caleb, you're being too nice, in a healthy kind of way, right? Where there needs to be boundaries created, because I tend to, right, give people the benefit of the doubt, maybe be uh I don't want to say kinder, but more,
I think you're too
softer.
trusting at time. I
Yeah,
think
too
you're too
trusting at
trusting
times.
at
Yeah,
time. Yes,
yeah.
because sometimes you have to separate. You can't drag everybody with you. You can't.
Can't.
You can't walk with everybody. You can't fly with everybody.
Yep.
You're gonna be on step D, and people are still gonna be, behind trying to start. You cannot be. Everybody cannot be on the same level. If everybody could be on the same level, we'll all be millionaires.
That's right. Yep.
We can't. So at time you got to recognize that, okay, this is the leg that I need to let go.
Yep.
Oh, this is the leg that I need to push a little back and table that so that I can come back to it and see how it's doing. And that's a little bit where sometimes like, okay, Caleb, don't. We're not doing this because you're too trusting at times. I mean, that's a great quality to have, trust, because it makes it easy, to get into a relationship with people. It makes it
Yep.
easy for people to trust you. But sometimes you have to be like, okay, this thing, we're not doing this thing.
Yep.
And that's probably where I think I come into this relationship where I tell you no on this one. And you're kind of like, yeah, she's right. Let's not do that. And it works. And I really
It
love that
does.
partnership, honestly speaking.
It
It
does.
works.
There's a mutual respect, the accountability. It really is a level of accountability and transparency that's necessary, as we know, in any long-term relationship that you hope to sustain. Without accountability, it's just not going to go very far. But it's enabling us to create a rapport, isn't it? And to be able to create an understanding of not only who one another are, but the direction that we want to go in, right? And so, you know, as we talk about moving forward again, right? The tendency was for me a lot of times I want to bring people along, maybe drag them at times when they're not ready or whatever. And so a lot of that is, understanding the timing, understanding our own self worth and value. And a lot
Mhm.
of my personal transition, Aline, has been the recognition that I can't do that. I can't wait around for people. I think there's an urgency and a criticalness to this hour that we're living in, and the recognition that there are people who are actionable, and there are people who just they've always sat on the sidelines, and they're probably not going to do anything different. So what do you feel like, as we're kind of creating this community, because that's why we're here, guys. It's been our heart to create a community, a support system and structure of people that can move forward together. So, as we're creating that, what are some of the things that, you feel like are the most important in the DNA of what we're looking for with other people. Obviously, we talked about being actionable, right? Being ready to, get out of your comfort zone, if you will. But what are your thoughts on that?
No, I really love the actionable part, because a lot of times people have ideas, they have wills, they have thinking, they have some emotion, and they do nothing about it, right? And then even when you bring it up to them and you're asking this person, are you open-minded in trying something new?
Mm.
There's still this apprehension of, oh no, I don't know if it's gonna work, or this or that. And for me, it took me a long time to get to this point where I can recognize that this is a business opportunity. I can recognize that this thing, if I endure whatever tribulations, I can make it. It took me a long time to get to that
Mm.
point. But I'm at that point in my life where I'm like, you can't make the same mistakes. And that's what we want in people. You gotta change your mindset. You gotta be to a point where you change your mindset and say, whatever I've been doing the past 40 years didn't work. Because obviously you didn't make it. What is it that you wanted to do? Did you ever ask yourself that question? What do I want?
Mm.
Where am I going?
Mhm.
How am I going there? If you can ask yourself those questions and answer them with an honest, because there goes another thing. You need to be honest about the
Right.
answer to those questions. Because if you lie to yourself, oh well, you lie to yourself, right? So you don't want that. What we want in people in our community, we want people that are going to be honest. We want people that are going to be actionable. We want people that are going to be ready to go. People that are going to be supporting one and each other. We're going to be able to support each other, and we're going to be able to share the information freely instead of holding on to a knowledge that you have. Maybe it could have been helping, your neighbor or your friends or your coworker, whoever that person is, and then you're holding on the information as if you created that information.
Mm.
You obviously you got it from someone else. So we want people that are going to be free to do whatever they want, especially. And I love that part because I come from a background where I don't want to say I was affected by that, because my parents protected me from that kind of a thinking that the woman is the one that stays in the kitchen. That's probably why I have this, like Ada mentioned earlier, this strong personality.
Yep.
But the background is the woman is over there. You do that thing, you cook, you clean, you take care of the kids. And then the man is the one is in the front doing, I don't know what they do over there anyways. But my parents kind of protected us from that kind of person, because they had a lot of girls. It's 7 girls, it's 7 of us.
Wow.
So we had a lot of girls in the family. So they kind of protected us and say, you can be anything you want to be. It doesn't matter where you are. At one point in my life, my dad wanted me to be an airplane mechanics. And then I actually did some research into it. And I realized that airplane mechanics, my nails is going to be always dirty. I'm not doing that. I don't want to do that. So I never went into that. So we want people that come in the community. It's going to be an honest place. It's going to be a place where you're free to be who you are. You don't want to try to be something else than who you are. Otherwise, you're not going to thrive,
Yep.
because you're going to be
100%.
you're going to feel damp. You're going to feel pressure. You're going to feel enclosed. You're going to feel in prison.
Yep.
That's not what we want from
It's
people.
not.
What do you think that we want from people, Claire? What kind of?
Well, just to piggyback on that, Aline, there's an extraordinary need in this day and age, obviously, for transparency and authenticity. And I think we both have that. I don't want to say to a fault, but almost to the point that, in this modern cultural age and society, I think a lot of people wear a lot of different masks, right? Or they do what they have to do to cater. And I'm not saying you don't make those shifts and those pivots, but you always come back to the core of who am I, right? What are my values? And I
Mhm.
talk about this often, that code of honor, right? Like hell or high water, what is my personal code of honor? What is Aline's personal code of honor? No matter what anybody else says or does, it's not my responsibility to establish their code. I have to choose to walk by my own code. And so we talk about this honor. And as you know, I'm a student of international law, and there's a lot of stuff we'll hopefully get into down the road. But I recognize we live in an age where a lot of that understanding of honor is lost, and true integrity and authenticity. And you referenced the parenting, factor, Aline. And I think even in this modern day and age, we recognize that cultural and generational shift, right? Dads, a lot of dads, if you will, like myself, are much more hands on. Whereas we looked at our parents and it was different, right? Mom did the rearing, right? She had her, duties and responsibilities. And it's just different now. I think there's more of an expectation. And so we're changing with the times. But we really do want to attract people who share strong family values. I mean, I've heard it said, I personally believe that the strength of any nation is the strength of the family unit. And so obviously we're in a day and age, and no judgment here. I'm a divorcee. I went through a tragic divorce. Had a little daughter at the time. And now I've been many, many years in a wonderful, strong relationship. And that doesn't mean it hasn't been a lot of work. And there are days you wake up and go, did I marry the right person? Because again, flawed human beings, right? Nobody has all the answers. Nobody has it all figured out. So we want to welcome people that, have been through the grind, that recognize it's not all candy canes and roses, right? But at the same time are willing to say, listen, I'm a flawed individual. I've made mistakes, but every day I'm trying to become a better version of myself. And I said it to a Rotary friend this morning. I said, every day I wake up, I ask myself, am I going to be a better version of myself, right? Choice, willfully, than I was yesterday. So I think that's a big thing for us, Aline, right? And who we want to attract into this community. Obviously, a judgment-free zone, right? At the same time, I don't think, you don't want people bringing along baggage, but we also want to create an environment where people who have been through the ringer, they've been beat up, by life, by business, because we've both been there, can have an environment where they can heal. What do you feel about that?
No, absolutely. It's almost like when you hear AA, it's a secret place when you go to a meeting. Not that I've never been. I'm just by reading and doing research and watching documentary and talking to people that I have. Being there, you understand the sacredness of that place. You can share because you're working on something. You can share the struggles that you're going through. You can share the wins that you have, and you have a bunch of other people of like-minded people, or people that are going through the same thing when you applaud you and support you and encourage you. And that's exactly what we want for our community. We want to be an AA kind of community where we can share wins, we can share downs, we can share our struggles and all that stuff. And everybody is there to support, encourage you, give you ideas of how to do this, idea how to do that. Be a supportive community, a loving community
Mhm.
that people can come in and have enough tool to do what they have to do. And one thing we want to be, because you got to take a mental picture of yesterday. Because you allude to that a minute ago when you're talking about being a better version of yourself. If you don't take that mental picture, you forgot what you did yesterday.
Mm.
And there goes another day of you repeating the same mistake that didn't work yesterday, or repeating the same thing that you tried yesterday and didn't work. But because you didn't take that mental picture, that thing is gone out of your mind. And then you do it again today. And then you're down 5 years down the line and you're still doing it. But if you come in a community where people are constantly saying, you post that yesterday, you said yesterday you were gonna do this. What happened today? How come you're doing it again? It didn't work yesterday. Why are you repeating that? But if you can have people that can hold you accountable, that's kind of like the kind of people we want, because that's who we are, honest, and we want honest people. We want loving people. There's too much negativity in the world,
Yep.
way too much. You turn on the news, next thing you know, you're depressed, and you don't even know why you're depressed. And for most of the country now, it's winter time, and the weather is not the best. So you got that seasonal depression. You gotta find a way to upbuild each other. That seasonal depression, most people, you can't fight it. That's what's called seasonal.
Yeah.
It's going to be gone. As soon as the sun is up, it's going to be gone. But while you're going through it, you want people that's going to support you and help you move on and help you be happy and give you enough courage to attack the new day every day.
Yes. I love
Yeah.
that, Aline. I love that. So I think a lot of what we're going to be focusing on as we're providing people with opportunities, right? With tools, with strategies to not only build and grow themselves, but to build and grow their businesses is the mindset element. We want to build, cultivate, if you will, people with strong mental fortitude, right? I think it's obviously it's become mandatory, if you will. I think what we've witnessed in our world over the past few years have recognized that not only people need to focus on mental health, strengthening,
Mhm.
right, their mental health, their emotional health, but the importance of our physical health too, and we're getting older, right? We're not getting any younger, that's for sure, and we recognize there's areas where it's more difficult, right?
Yeah.
Thank God for disciplines we create. Working out for me, especially first thing in the morning, is a big part of how I start my day. Like, we each have our ways, right? That we get in the right frame of mind. Okay. And we're going to wake up, we're going to, start with gratitude. How are we going to attack the day? How are we going to get stuff done? And no easy task when you got little ones, right? That are up early a lot of the time too. And and again, it's about navigating in this, modern world. How can we be parents? How can we be active parents, right? And people who are cultivating a family unit, but at the same time, we have to give this energy and effort into our business. And I
Mhm.
made a post about it the other day, Aline, and really it comes down to how much work are we putting in? Because we were joking about this earlier, right? The glamorization of entrepreneurship. And
Yeah.
yet, the challenges that are behind it and the resilience that it requires. So I think bringing people into a community where, right, they're building up their mindset, that they recognize, okay, failure is inevitable with any type of success, business or otherwise, right? You're gonna have to figure out what doesn't work, and that's gonna likely mean, multiple failures before you succeed. How important is that, for people to come into a community or come into a new endeavor going, okay, yes, I want this to work, and maybe it will work the first go around, but how do I prepare myself if it doesn't work? What are your thoughts on that?
No, failure is a must. I think in life in general, failure is a must. As far as we can remember, failure has been part of who we are. You can't learn anything when everything is super duper good. You can't learn anything. Like, we're in the sales world. We are in this world where what we do is, if you go every day, first client you get, it's a sell. Second client you get, it's a sell. Third client, it's a sell. And then you sell, 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 sell. You will never learn adversity.
Mm,
As soon as the first person is going to tell you, no, I'm not interested. Oh, no, I don't want it. You're going to be taking like, what's going on?
mm,
But if you have to grind and grind, I mean, how much can you learn while you're grinding? You need to realize that, okay, this thing is hard. I need to make up. So you're going to learn to never give up, never giving up. You need to learn that I need to be honest about what I'm doing. Am I doing it right?
mm,
You're going to realize that I need to go educate myself. Maybe I'm not speaking well. Maybe I'm not translating my information the way it's supposed to be. Then I gotta go get a training. It's like, especially with that part of the training, when I realized that I was never gonna make it unless I get a personal trainer, that changed everything for me.
mm,
A lot of time people are always wanting to do things on their own because they think they're saving money, because they think they protecting their information or whatnot. When you get a personal coach, and sometimes not only one personal coach, sometimes you need multiple
mhm,
coaches. You need a mental coach, you need a business coach, you need a physical coach. I mean, sometimes you need like a team of coaches to be who you need to be,
that's right.
because on our own, we're not going to make it. If we were going to make it, we already made it.
Mhm,
We were already made it because you've been trying this thing. I'm talking personally. I've been trying to be an entrepreneur since I was 9 years old.
mm,
I've been working on becoming an entrepreneur until I realized that I needed a coach to help me navigate this world. I was nowhere to even recognize what talent do I have,
mhm,
to even recognize that, okay, what kind of person am I? That is the things that sometimes on your own you can't do it. Now you get that. So being an entrepreneur is, you're gonna need that. You're gonna absolutely need to be able to make it as a coach. you're gonna need a coach to help you make it to into the entrepreneur world, because it's not an easy world to navigate. We quit every day as an entrepreneur. You quit every day because of how hard it is. And but you know you can't quit it because you understand what you're going. And
Mhm.
that is one question that sometimes a lot of people don't answer. Where am I going?
Mhm.
How am I getting there? A lot of people don't answer that question or don't ask themselves that question and don't even answer that. If you know where you're going and how you're going to get there, you're going to make it because it's going to be
Mhm.
right there in front of you,
And am
right
I
there.
willing to do whatever it takes to get there, however long it takes?
It takes.
Adaptation, needing to pivot. And great point, Aline. Having coaches, having mentors means willingness to invest in ourselves, right?
Mhm.
Everybody's looking for the easiest, most I won't use the C word, cheap, the most inexpensive way, right, to become an entrepreneur or start up a business. And there's just no way to do that without, I think, upfront counting the cost. I think
Mhm.
you brought up a wonderful point here. Have we counted the costs in advance? Are we willing to pay the price, however long it takes, right? And
Right.
as you and I know, it starts out with hundreds of dollars, right? To thousands of dollars to tens of thousands of dollars. And you and I met, right, through the insurance industry. It's
Yeah.
interesting, right? My longer term history was, in estate planning, is in estate planning. And then of course I got my insurance license, and that's how you and I met. And I think there's that element, because I really want to tie this into, our whys. I think it's a big part of what brought you and I together. Not only
Mhm.
do we have a deep appreciation for, uh, the big L word, love, if you will, and, loving people, loving ourselves, loving our families, but legacy. My other favorite L word is legacy. And our why, right, is obviously we want to build a legacy, because it's
Mhm.
not even about us. We're doing what we're doing, enduring the ups and downs, right? The risk, the costs, the effort, the frustration, the disappointment at times that comes from people. We endure all of that because we recognize we're building something that's greater than us. We want something that's going to outlive us, and that is our legacy. And so,
Yes.
obviously, things like a good estate plan and living trust, life insurance, we've learned over time, right? And trial and error. I mean, I wasn't taught these things by my parents. I had to teach my parents how to utilize and leverage some of these products and services. But Aline and I
Mhm.
had to learn them the hard way. And now you were on this mission, if you will, to go, what is the best approach, right? What is the best strategy? What are the best tools to help protect ourselves, to insulate ourselves, to build a legacy? Because obviously we're doing what we're doing, and we're not ashamed to tell you that, part of our mission is to accumulate wealth for ourselves and our families so that we can do
Oh.
more for more people. What do you feel about that? Your background, Africa, right? Those contrasts between wealth and poverty. Talk to us about that a little bit.
Oh, yes, legacy is very important. And that's the reason you're talking about a why. That's because I know where I come from and know the life that a lot of my peers are still living over there. You grow up over there and they're talking about the American dream, but
Mm,
nobody knows what the American. Honestly speaking, I've been in this country for like forever. This is home to me. I still don't know what the American dreams is. You go around and you ask people what is the American. Nobody knows that word, the American dream. What is that? Because the way our system is to create us to be in so much debt, that is that the American dream, to be in
exactly.
debt all the time?
The illusion of the American
The
dream.
the illusion of the American dream. Maybe that's what the American dream is. And talking about the insurance, when we met to the insurance, I love insurance. How important it is, life insurance. It is an essential thing. I tell that to my people all the time. I'd rather you have no electricity in your home. Like if you had to pick between paying your electric bill and paying your life insurance, I would pay my life insurance.
Mm,
But unfortunately, a lot of people do the opposite.
mhm.
And I'm not saying that because now I'm in the insurance world. Maybe I'm stronger in that saying now because I understand how insurance works. But life insurance is one of the most important things that you can ever do for your family legacy. For your family legacy, maybe not quote unquote, but for your family legacy, which a lot of people miss.
Mhm.
And you and me, we got together with this, from that agency, and we love what we're doing. It's just that world of life insurance, the way it's designed, it's just what turned people off.
Mhm.
I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
This is true talk. The way that world is designed is what turned people off. That product is not presented as your electric bill that you must have,
Mm.
your cell phone that you must have, or your transportation that you must have. Life insurance is not presented like that. A lot of time people say life insurance, oh, you mean I'm dying tomorrow? Of course you're dying tomorrow. It's the truth. Be honest. You're dying next minute. Now, if you die, does your whole family die with you?
Mm.
Is that what you want? Or you could just decide that, okay, if I die, because we're all dying, now what are they going to do while they're waiting their turn to die? Right? But that product is not presented like that. It's presented as the agent has to make money, the insurance company has to make money, the corporation has to make money, and all of a sudden, this part, everybody is making money, even on your cell phone. Apple makes tons of money on their phone. But the way Apple advertise their phone, you gotta have the latest Apple. How many people stand in line? They have an Apple. What are we? Apple 15? Is that what we
15
are?
already. Yep.
Yeah. They have an Apple 14, but they stand in line to wait for Apple to open so that they can give in the Apple 14 that worked just fine. And they're not even done paying for it so that they can get the Apple 16. How crazy is that? That is the same thing that people should have done with life insurance.
Excuse me.
That is the same thing that we should have been doing with life insurance, presenting that it's a must have. We need to stand in line to buy a life insurance.
Mhm.
And so you and me, we got that realization, understanding that that's not what it was. And our goal, our mission is to help people understand. We have this plethora of product that we put together that is going to be an all essential thing for people, because these are the things that we do every day that we need. You need your cell phone, you need your health
Mhm.
insurance, you need your life insurance, you need your electric bill, all of these things. But majority of the time, those are the things that we struggle to keep because money is tight. So I love that we're working, being on the mission so that we can help people keep all the essential things in their life so that they can be able to afford their life.
Mhm.
And that's when we got together, we realized that that's exactly what we want. And that's what attracted us together. Say, let's put this together because we're thinking the same thinking, the same thoughts, and we're walking the
Mhm.
same walk. And so we got together and do it. And I really enjoy working with you, Caleb. You're pretty awesome.
Likewise, my friend. And I love that you brought that up. This aura around insurance, if you will. And you said it, half the battle is the way that it's been presented. And I believe a lot of that is a history of agents who have been more transactional based than they've been legacy service oriented, right? Which is different. And so we're really up against it, if you will, in many ways, trying to reshape the way that
Mhm.
we approach it, right? And a lot of that is done with education. I mean, if you and I could look back, the amount of live in-person presentation, estate planning, the virtual ones that we've done over the past few years. Oh
Right.
my gosh, but part of that is the way that it's presented, right? We're having to re-educate people, right? To help them understand and see these tools in a way and in a different perspective that they did before. And even myself, right? I didn't originally get licensed because of that aura. I didn't like the
Mhm.
way that it was presented. And so, at times I want to put my head through a wall because you and I have so transformed our lives in perspective, understanding how we can leverage life insurance, right? To use it like a bank account and yet, freely giving out this education that some people just come and go, oh, okay, let me go think about it. Like, and you just go, what are you going to do if
Mhm.
something happens? Like,
Yes.
that's the big thing, right? It's like you know the pizza story I heard by an insurance agent, right? It's down talking to this couple, and what happens, husband, if you go out one night to pick up the pizza
You
and
don't
you don't
come.
come back? Wife, like, what does that look like for you? If he was the primary breadwinner, you got three minor children, like people don't think enough about what it's going to look like if these unknown variables, and it's not a fear driven thing, right? It really is a preparation and planning mindset. But because of the things that, our mind says we hope they don't happen, we don't want them to happen, we don't think about them, right? We don't dwell
Mhm.
about that. And I'm not saying, be afraid of these things, but you have to be willing to say, what is the route that we're going to take if something unexpected happens tomorrow? And sadly, for the majority, they don't even have a backup plan.
Right.
They don't have a backup savings account. I was dealing with over the past week, a single mom who at one point was, a successful business owner. She's got 4 kids, one of them is like 3, so almost, still an infant or whatever, and,
Mhm.
unexpected life scenarios, right? And was served papers to get evicted from the house she was renting. Ended up having to pawn her car to cover the rent.
Right.
And this was someone who was, living comfortably with a good income, owned a business. And so I go, people just don't realize, right? When that rug's pulled out from under us overnight, and we have a responsibility as parents, right? To our
Mhm.
kids, what's that going to look like? And, I don't want to say I'm ashamed, but I learned the hard way, right? From, maybe other family members who procrastinated, that I should have learned about these things sooner, or I could have, if you will. And so
Yeah.
that is a big part of our heart, guys, that we're on a mission to provide education, right, to help you see this is what's available, but we want you asking that question. So I want to bring this back to the why, Aline, right?
Right.
Why do you want to create a legacy, or why should your legacy matter? Because if you're married with kids and one of you is gone tomorrow, or God forbid both of you, what's the future look like for your children? What's the future look like for your spouse and kids? Like, are they going to remember you as being someone who procrastinated, didn't do anything, and just hoped it would all work out? I mean, this is kind of the reason we got into the healthcare coverage recently, right, Elaine, too, which is
Yeah.
a $4.3 trillion annual industry broken system. But we recognize that a lot of people were playing Russian roulette. Oh, I'm moderately healthy, but we don't go, well, what if tomorrow something happens and you're not? What if you get sidelined? Literally this morning, Aline was talking to a local Rotary business owner. His mom just passed away. So I asked him, how he was doing, how everything was going, and came to find out that his in-laws driving to the funeral, on their way to a funeral, gets sideswiped by another car, broken shoulder, broken neck, all
Oh,
kinds,
man.
both of them in the hospital in critical care. Can you imagine? You're trying to grieve the loss of a parent,
Yeah.
and the other,
And
and so you just like, we have no idea, right?
mm,
This guy loves God, faith, everybody's praying, blah, 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 but we don't know. There
no,
are
you
no
don't.
guarantees. So
No,
not only is he trying to take care of his own family member who's grieving, right, himself, he said, Caleb, I haven't even had a chance to start grieving yet.
because you got to take care of the other one in the
Yeah,
hospital.
because he's
Yeah.
taking care of all these other people. So do we want to be in a position? What does a life insurance plan do for us there? What does good health coverage do for us there? Because again, right, I get it. You're healthy, you can't afford it, but the unexpected, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And then it's
When?
not all going to be extreme, but life is going to throw its punches, Aline.
No,
It's
you're right. And I really love this expression that you use all the time, playing Russian roulette with
Mhm.
your life. A lot of people do. A lot of us do. I was talking not too long ago, I think about a month ago, to 3 clients, and they didn't have health insurance. And I asked them, why not? They can afford it.
Mhm.
But then they have the latest cell phone that's in the market, and that's what we want to do. And when you're talking about the why and why we're doing this thing, is we want to educate people and realize what is important. You got to put your priority in place. I
Mhm.
look at my family and I don't want my kids to grow up how I grew up. We say that all the time, but then we do nothing about it.
Mhm.
And even when the opportunity is presented for you to do something different, you don't because you're scared, because you don't think you're going to make it, or you don't think you have the mental fortitude to get to where you need to go, or the financial stability to invest in yourself and do it. I look at my son, I look at my daughter, I'm like, no, this is not what I want from you. I know where I come from. I didn't like it, but now that I'm out of it, I don't want you guys to ever do that. So I work every day, and I look at my husband. We have an amazing relationship. It's not easy. I mean, he's imperfect. I'm imperfect,
Mhm.
and so we have to work together. I look at him and how much support he provide me,
Mhm.
and I'm like, I want to do better for him.
Yeah.
I want to show him. I want to say thank you for supporting me day and
Mhm.
night, for allowing me the space to be who I am. I want to be able to do that. And then I want to be able to educate the people to realize that they can do that for themselves. Sometimes people break up in relationships not because they don't know how to be together in relationships, so they allow too much stress and pressures to come between them.
That's right.
They allow other things to be important than the things that needs to be important.
Mhm.
You're giving the example of the one that how many stories we've heard, like just the one that you just told. How many people are going to a funeral end up dying on the road on the way? I know several of those stories. We can sit there and say countless and stories. And the reason why people are keep repeating that cycle of poverty is because nobody is being educated the proper way. Our children in school are not educated about the important things. They tell them go to school, have a job, and hopefully you get a good job and make a good living for yourself. Everybody wants the latest cell phone. Everybody wants the latest technology, the latest car. You can't even afford the car, but they want the car.
Mhm.
The things that are important to them, your health insurance, your life insurance, these things are important to you. People just put it aside. And we're not saying that because we're selling or that we want to sell life insurance. We're saying that because your life is important. If you sit there and you analyze the things that you prioritize in your life, where you put insurance in your life. When you go buy furniture, they ask you for insurance
Mm.
to protect that furniture. You go to Best Buy, you buy a TV, they ask you to put insurance on that TV to protect it. Why? You could be walking out of Best Buy with that TV and drops and break. But because you had that insurance, now you turn around and say, hey, my TV broke. You're like, okay, here's another TV.
Mhm.
That peace of mind, who wouldn't want that for
Mhm.
every aspect of their life? So we look when you think about it, you look at people, they protect their phones, their car, their home, their appliances,
Hmm.
uh, you name it, people protect.
Mhm.
But then when the most important things, because none of those things exist if you're not alive, they forget to protect that, your life, your health, your mental stability. People forget that because the society presented as it's a second thing. It's
Mhm.
not that important. So we want people to come together. We want people to come with us, walk this journey. We want people that can educate other people about what are life priority. Don't come here and sell your product. We don't want you to be selling nothing in our community. We want if you can educate people on credit, you can educate people on health, you can educate people on insurance, so you can educate people. This who you we want to be. If you can come over here and just share your thoughts and just need people to support you and going to where you're going, that's who we want you to be. If you are a head, a husband with children, wife, and you just need that community to help you mentally, that's who we want you to be. You're a single person and you're trying to make it, that's who we want to be. We're not salespeople here. We want a community that we can support each other, help each other to level up because we all need that.
We do. I love that, Elaine. That's exactly what we're all about. And it's why we're so adamant about bringing people into the fold, if you will, right? I mean, what an opportunity to learn. Again, Aline, we've had some phenomenal mentors, both
Mm,
mutually and individually in our lives, right? And I look back at that because we talked about the power of coaches, we talked about the power of self-investing, but the things that I've learned, right, are invaluable. You know,
mhm,
I'm friends with the founder of our estate platform who's been doing this for nearly 40 years. a man who knows so much about it, he trains attorneys about estate planning. And that's huge. So when you have those people and you learn things that are invaluable, what do you want to do? You want to pass it on. You
Mm,
want to share it with others. You want to go, here's a way that, my life trajectory changed and shifted. And in every generation, there's always like that one person in the family. I hate to use the term black sheep, but it kind of makes you a black sheep who says, I'm going to break the cycle, whether it's
yeah.
the cycle of poverty or lack or deficiency, negativity, whatever that cycle is. I want to be the one to break that. And I think Aline and I are both, that type of person within our families. And as a
Mhm.
forerunner role, it's not easy, is it? To go
No.
against the grain, to, recognize that something so ingrained in you from childhood had such a dramatic effect on the way that you thought and viewed the world and everything like that. And I say it often, the whole process of, you know, retraining your brain and your mindset, or unlearning information that was errant or that was false, so that you can relearn with information that is accurate, that is right. And so, guys, like, we could go on and on and on. We don't want to take up any more of your time, but we are just so stinking excited for the opportunity here to build this kind of community support system and structure, as Aline and I have been talking to you about. And begin to insulate yourself and your legacy, right, for what might be coming. I was on a podcast last night. I'll say it real quick. Patrick Bat David, and it was called 2024, the year of chaos. And anybody that know who Patrick is, extraordinary man, straight shooter, transparent, honest, integrity, but uber successful. But he
Mhm.
also recognizes, we're coming up on elections. We saw what happened during last election. We've seen what's unfolded in our world the past few years. It's going to be volatile. But as the hat so eloquently says, what's your mindset, guys? What's your
Right.
attitude? The future, is your future going to be bright, or is your future going to be filled with chaos and terror and hopelessness? And we don't know what 2024 holds, but we know that preparation and planning is one of the most powerful and essential things that you can do. Educating yourself, getting your mindset strong, and building
Mhm.
toward having resources, right? Because resources give us options, don't they, Aline? It gives us
Yeah.
freedom, the ability to have choices, when things really get tough, to be able to say, okay, now we've got the option. What do we need to do to pivot? That said, my friend, thanks for taking the time with me. Any closing thoughts for everybody?
Oh, no, I'm just welcoming everybody. Come join us into this journey, educational journey, transformational journey, legacy living journey. We need people to be able to, even if we can just transform 1% of the population into people that are educated, to realize that the future looks bright, then we're going to be okay. We are going to be okay. It's always a pleasure talking to you, Caleb. It's always amazing spending a few minutes with you. It's always insightful, and I love it. And I look forward to our next time.
You as well, my friend. Thank you, guys. We're excited to start this new season of life and this brand new podcast together. So keep your eyes and ears open, and share this with a friend. Share this, with a colleague or somebody else that you feel, needs the timely support and encouragement. And we will see you all again soon. Take care for now.